Yeah, they're off, and as we mentioned in the pre-show, some really high wattages needing to be put out early on, and you can see already that they've really got some speed up on this one. It's well, compared to what I was doing, as you can see there, like 6 watts a kilo. I know Lucy Charles Barclay was pushing 500 watts plus in her warm-up. There's Sophie Caldwell in her little pain cave at home. You can see her partner there on the edge of screen there briefly. He does all of the domestique duties, if that's what you call them, in Zwift. And it's always a really tough one. There's Emma Palin as well, with her partner Jared looking on. And it looks like she's got a disco going on there. So everyone's pain cave setup's a little different. Vanessa De La Torre from Mexico leading the way at the moment alongside Sophie Caldwell. It's going to be a really interesting one to see how this plays out. Lucy Charles Barclay and Maya Kingma, as you mentioned, putting out big wattage, 9 and 10 watts a kilo to get the early advantage in this climb. We're at 8.1 kilometres, so 800 metres until the first intermediate and the first points are decided. And it's Lucy Charles Barclay, the Red Bull athlete, 3 times second place in Kona at the Ironman World Championships the last 3 years, won the Challenge Roth last year as well. A regular on Zwift though, so she's not going to be caught out by these short, sharp racing compared to what she's usually used to. She's pushing out 8 watts a kilo right now to really try and press her advantage, and she's pushed out to about 1.3 seconds. It says 0.9 there, but we've got updated times. And it's Lucy Charles Barclay from Maya Kingma, Emma Palin, Sophie Caldwell, and Louisa Baptista. So she really pushed their early doors, Lucy Charles Barclay, just to make sure that she was in pole position. She was going to control this climb, and now she's just got to hang on, and she's pushing huge numbers.
Yeah, she really is. I think there's no surprise for people watching this to see Lucy way up there. You know, she's kept herself in great form throughout lockdown, racing really well on Zwift, and I think she wants to take control of this race early on, and I think the other athletes are going to have to work really hard if they're going to try and get the better of her.
200 metres to go in our first King of the Mountain section, and Lucy Charles Barclay is well in control. She's now 5.3 seconds clear of Emma Palin from Maya Kingma, Sophie Caldwell at 8.9 seconds with Louisa Baptista, and they look like at the moment they're going to take out those points. And there is Sophie Caldwell up in the saddle, getting some words of encouragement as she tries to take some points in this one, and she's been fantastic in the Zwift Classics. But she's not going to beat Lucy Charles Barclay, who takes 5 points in the first intermediate from Maya Kingma. Just from Emma Palin. No, it was Emma Palin who got the points. We'll get the update in just a second. Lucy Hall, and I think Louisa Baptista is half a second ahead of Sophie Caldwell. But we'll update you on our points. But at the moment, courtesy of a fantastic 800-metre push up the hill, Lucy Charles Barclay, whose heart rate is now top 180, will take the 5 points. There you go. Queen of the Mountain points it in. Maya Kingma in fourth. Emma Palin takes 3 points. Lucy Hall takes 2 points. And Louisa Baptista. So 3 Brits in the Queen of the Mountain. And there is the start of the sprint section as Palin, Baptista, Charles Barclay goes back into the orange numbers as well with an 8.6. And again, she's going to take this one. She's up in the saddle and she's left. Well, she's got the jump on them somewhat. Louisa Baptista's pushing 8 watts a kilo to try and stay with her. But Lucy Charles Barclay will probably take the double here, and she's going to do that. So she has taken a maximum 10 points from the first 2 sprints, and she just knew what was happening just a little bit before everybody else and left Baptista, Palin, Hall and Caldwell behind. And along with Kingma, the 6 of them are well ahead of everybody else, now about 16, 17 seconds. So we could see just a race in 6 from now on, but at the front, Lucy Charles Barclay takes it again from Baptista, Palin, Hall and Caldwell. And there is the red line marking the 1.2 kilometre Queen of the Mountain section. And Louisa Baptista with someone extremely muscly looking on next to her as they head up this 1.2 kilometre stretch. And can anyone beat Lucy Charles Barclay in this one? And if they can, Annie, who's it going to be?
Oh, wow. Well, that's interesting. Well, just having a little look what's going on here. I think that Kingma's going to have a bit of a dig. Palin, they've all got to have a go now because, of course, we've seen Lucy take maximum points so far. So these athletes are going to have to really start working hard if they can together to get the better of Lucy Charles. But we can see her now riding up to the front, putting herself in the right position and the position that she needs to be. And I'm not sure. Oh no, that's Arnold. Sorry for that, Arnold. No, where's Arnold come from?
Arnold's back. She's now 19 seconds back. We just flipped back to her.
Okay.
She's pushing 5 watts a kilo, and she can't see the pack ahead. So it's always a little more difficult. It's always a little more difficult. When you're back there, you can't see the group in front of you. No, she's on the hill. You thought she would have come back a little bit, but hopefully we'll head back to the front pack in just a second, and you can see the numbers on the right-hand side. Lucy Charles once again in front. There is Sophie Caldwell up in the saddle, but there's still only half a second between the top 5 there. Lucy Hall's now 3.9 seconds back, so she's dropped off on this one. You can see there 3.6 on your screens. And we're now in a group of 5, so there should be points going to every one of these athletes, but who is going to take the maximum and who is going to take them from Lucy Charles Barclay, who is now in front of Sophie Caldwell, with Emma Pallant in the green pushing up Louisa Baptista in the red. Maya Kingma's now a second and a half back, but at the front, Lucy Charles Barclay pushing 9 watts a kilo is disappearing from this group once again. She's dropped back to 6 watts a kilo, but she's given herself 2 seconds with a little push up there, and it doesn't look like anyone's going to be able to respond.
Oh, it certainly doesn't, Will. It really doesn't. She knows when to make her move. She really does, doesn't she? As we see now, Baptista dropping the watts there, but Lucy Charles pushing nearly 8 watts per kilo. Emma Pallant has dropped behind by 2 seconds. Caldwell now down 4 seconds. Lucy's really pushed that. She wants to take maximum points in this race, that's for sure, Will. Look at her. She's left them all standing. There's nothing they can do.
No, there is nothing they can do. Lucy Charles Barclay takes every single point from the first 3 intermediates. We'll just get an update on who came in behind her, but it doesn't really matter at this point because Lucy Charles is in control. Now coming up to her is Emma Pallant, and straight past as well, as Lucy Charles just saves herself up a little bit, knowing that this sprint's going to take place in just a few hundred metres' time. And we'll see, there you go, Charles Barclay 5 points, Baptista 4, Pallant 3, Caldwell 2, and Kingma 1. We'll take a little clip now before we head into the sprint. Emma Pallant from Lucy Charles Barclay, Louisa Baptista, Lucy Hall, Maya Kingma, Sophie Caldwell, then 40 seconds back to Jennifer Arnold, Helen Jenkins 2.5 minutes back, Radka Carlefeld, Dominica Jam, Nikki Beatrice Neres, Megan Brown, who's out, Ilaria Zane, Vanessa Delatorre. And just a reminder, there are no power-ups in this one. If you're wondering where the power-ups are, we like the pure racing at Super League Triathlon, so we've just kept with that, and all the bikes are exactly the same as they head into the sprint. And who's at the front, Annie? Once again, it's Lucy Charles Barclay who's taken the advantage early on, and Emma Pallant doesn't look like she's going to be able to go with her. In fact, she drops off, and Lucy Charles just goes straight up into the orange numbers again, and is going to sweep all 20 points from the intermediates.
Wow, that is impressive racing. It really is, isn't it? I mean, I'm impressed with Emma Pallant. I'm really impressed with the Brazilian, the young Brazilian Baptista, but really none of them have anything to answer to Lucy Charles, because when she wants to go, it's like she ups and goes, and there's nothing they can do. Emma Pallant now seems to have recovered well from that sprint, though, but she couldn't answer Lucy Charles when she decided to go.
Well, there are the sprint points. The last intermediate is done, and only now is double points in 2.4 kilometres time, and it looks like it's going to come down to Emma Pallant and Lucy Charles Barclay at the front, because now Baptiste is nearly 5 seconds back. But look at those points. Lucy Charles Barclay has this in the bag, because she's going to get at least 8. You would have thought. Emma Pallant 13, Baptista 12, Caldwell 5, and Lucy Hall 5. There is money available all the way down to 8th position, $1,200 for the winner, $800, $600, and we go down to $100 for 8th place. But that $1,200 looks like it's going straight to the pocket of Lucy Charles Barclay. Emma Pallant currently based out of South Africa, and Lucy Charles in the UK, and it's the two of them who are going up the last 600 metres. They've turned onto Ripon Road, and there is Emma Pallant putting absolutely everything into it. Lucy Charles, though, is a couple of hundreds of seconds ahead. Now Emma Pallant takes the lead, 350 metres to go as they head up the hill, and we're going to go up the hill with them onto Ripon Road. It's Lucy Charles Barclay ahead of Emma Pallant. The two of them with absolutely daylight behind them. Pallant now gets her nose in front. Pallant's putting up the big numbers now, 6-7 watts a kilo. Can she take this one? Charles Barclay responds, 120 metres to go now, and Lucy Charles Barclay's going to have too much in the legs, and she leaves them behind again. 9 watts a kilo after 42 minutes, and Lucy Charles Barclay takes every single intermediate, and then she takes the 10 points. She has taken every point on offer and has absolutely swept the field here from Emma Pallant. It's a GB 1-2, and there is Emma, and she's put everything into it, but she just couldn't stay with her compatriot. A little shake of the head there as Sophie Colwell gives everything in the end to try and finish in 4th position ahead of Maya Kingma, and she just managed to do that. They both came in 35 seconds back. There was hundredths of a second in it as they crossed the line, and then Lucy Hall comes in 6th position. A fantastic race from all of those women. But how about Lucy Charles Barclay taking maximum points